Good morning, Westerville Lions. Today I'd like to demonstrate how to create an assessment for your students using Google Forms and then using Flubaroo to grade your exams. So the first thing you want to do is open up your Drive, and then you'll go to New, and you can go down to More and get to Google Forms that way. That's one way. Alternatively, you can go to the shortcut and click on Forms that way. And then to start a new form, you can use a template. You can see all these different types that are available. You may be interested in doing it that way, but for today, I'm going to do the blank form. The first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to rename your form, and I'm going to put in sample quiz. You'll see here that after I type that in and I move the mouse down here, it automatically shows up as my title. You can also add your title and description this way if you want to do it that way. The other way is much easier. All right, before we get started on making our quiz, I want to show you a couple of different things. Up here is the color palette. That will change the background of your form. And you can choose a theme if you would like. There are a lot of different topics for themes. You're also offered the option to upload your own photo, but you have to upload a photo from your computer. You can't do it directly from the internet. So next to the color palette, we have the preview button. If you click on the preview button at any time, it will show you the student view of what the assessment will look like. So this is how it looks right now. Okay, going back to our page, let's go to settings. So the first thing it says who can respond. I would change it to anyone. You can check the box next to can submit only one response, but it will require the students to log into their Google account to take the exam. Alternatively, you can make one of your questions their email address, and they can put it in as a short answer. At the end of the assessment, this is pretty standard, your response has been recorded. If you want to, you can say to the students, please take out a book to read, so that they were quiet while the rest of the class finishes their assignment. And then the respondents can also submit another response if you'd like. They can edit their response. They can see a summary of everyone's responses. And then the presentation options. If it's a really long exam, it's kind of nice to check the progress bar because they can see how far they are within the test. If they're 50% finished, they kind of get an idea of how much longer it's going to take. Another good option to check is to shuffle the question order. If your students are taking the exam all together right next to each other and you want to keep them honest, you can check the shuffle question order. Okay, so let's talk about questions. So the very first thing you want to add to your quiz is the student's name. You can put first and last name, or you can put first name on one line and last name on the next. Instead of multiple choice, obviously, you'll change it to short answer. And if you want to always check this required, if it's required that they answer that question. If you're not happy with what the question that you've created, you can also delete it. And if you want to undo it, you can do it that way, or you can just add a new question. So I'm going to put in first and last name here. Change this back to short answer. There's also an option of paragraph if it's something long. Generally, since we're using Flubaroo, I would not use short answer or paragraph. Well, you can use short answer for names, but for an actual graded question, I would not use short answer or paragraph or Flubaroo because you'll have to do that by hand. It'll be separate from them. So we're going to add another question. This one I'm going to make a true-false question. And you can do this with multiple choice, or you can do check boxes, which I kind of like. So true and false. Okay. And I'm going to require that. So I'm going to check that. And then we can add another question. Let's do a linear scale question. So generally you won't use linear scale, but you might if you want to just ask a question like, did you study for this test? And for the first one, you can label it if you want, not at all. And you can, anywhere from 5, you can go, you can make that scale go up to 10. We'll keep it at 5. And this is B. I'm ready. Okay, we'll make that required. And we'll add another question. Let's see. So we've got, we're going to go to the drop down. The drop down is also option 1 or option 2. Another type of question you can ask, but we're going to go to multiple choice grid because this one's kind of neat, but it's kind of different. Oh, shooty birds. Okay, did we get it? Okay, yes, we did. Okay, so I'm going to put for this question, classifications of vegetables. And then I'll put in potato, spinach, carrot, asparagus. Okay, then I'm going to put over here, I'm going to do root, I'm going to do tuber, I'm going to do stem, and I'm going to do leaf. Okay, and I'm going to show you, that's a required one. I'm going to show you what it looks like for the students because this does not quite represent what it looks like. It's all right, so here's the sample, the view from the student. So here is the true false. You'll notice the little star means it's required. So this is the linear scale, and then this is your multiple choice grid. Okay, all right. So the next thing you want to do is you want to take a sample test yourself because you want to have an answer key. So I'm going to make the sample quiz. This is Gavin. Sky's blue's true. I'm ready. I want everything to be correct, so I'm going to have to make sure I do these correctly. Okay, and submit it. All right. So I think it might take a while for this response to show up. In a little while, it takes a little bit of a while. Sometimes it just takes more than one response. But we'll come back to that. Your response will show up here. I'm going to show you on another test that I've already done. So I've created this test for the foods teacher. So this is the influences on food choices assessment. You'll see here that the quiz, and then the questions, and these are the responses. So the first response here is her answer key that we completed, so that to gauge the answers from the other students. And then we had 4 other students take this quiz for a total of 5 responses. This is the really cool thing about Google Forms, is that they now have graphs to show you the responses. So they do pie graphs and they do bar graphs. So they do pie graphs when it's a multiple choice. So you can see here everyone, and I hover over and it shows they all answered technology helps food remain safe for long periods of time. So 5 people 100% answered it that way. Now it will show you here, if I hover over, only 80% checked food availability, which is the correct answer, and 20% actually said advertising. So, and you can keep moving down. If we move down to the multiple choice grid, it comes out as a bar graph, and it will show the answers. 4 people answered that potato's a tuber. 1 person answered that it's a root. These are 5, 5, and 5, and the same here is the beet is a root. 4 people answered, and 1 person said that beet is a tuber. So that just kind of gives you a quick flash look at the responses and how students are doing. As more students respond, this number will go up. If you finish the assessment, you decide you don't want to accept any more responses, just click that button and it will say not accepting any responses. And then when you're ready to do the Flubaroo to score them, you click on this tab here, View Responses in Sheets. So it's going to show up in Sheets. All right, and so now we're ready to go ahead and we're going to score it with Flubaroo. Okay, now that you've got your spreadsheet of all of the results from the responses, you can use Flubaroo. The first time you use Flubaroo, you're going to want to go to the apps and install Flubaroo. And after you've installed it, it will appear in your add-ons. And you go to Flubaroo and it will say grade assignment, share grades, view the report. I've actually already graded this because I wanted to show you the graphs and the responses. So I'm going to regrade assignment, but yours will say grade assignment. And then it gives you a lot of different choices. So the first thing is your grading option. You can identify the student, which gives you no points. You can skip grading, normal grading, or grade by hand. And grade by hand is for those questions that are short answer or paragraph that I mentioned earlier. If you choose that, then Flubaroo will grade all of your other normal grading, and then you will have to average in your short answers to the results from Flubaroo. So if we go down to the questions that I've indicated for normal grading, you have a choice of point value of 1 through 10. I've chosen 1 for all of these questions. So now I'm ready to continue. Now you select which submission should be used as the answer key, and as I showed you earlier, you always are going to create an answer key by responding before you make the test available to all of your students. So I've done that, and now it's going to grade for me. Okay. So it's done all the grading, and it shows in red the students that did not pass the exam or the quiz. In this case, 1 student did not pass. Also, any questions that where students did not answer well, it will highlight. And here, this question, only 25% of the students got this question right. So that's why it's highlighted. It alerts the teacher that I need to reteach this skill. So that's pretty much it. It's very basic. So Google Forms and using Flubaroo to grade your Google Forms, and it's very easy. So I hope you'll try it sometime soon. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks and have a great day.